My name's Peter Zunino and I'm Head of Marketing at Airtel-Vodafone. Great to see so many of you here today on Safer Internet Day 2018, and I think that just goes to show how awareness has raised over the years. I remember doing a similar event 4 years ago at the Hub, and I think there were 3 people came along. So fantastic to see everybody here. Well, what is Safer Internet Day? Safer Internet Day is an international initiative that was launched 14 years ago with the aim of promoting safe, positive and responsible behaviour in the digital world to young people. So all over the world today, organisations, businesses, police forces, carers and teachers will be getting together under the banner to promote, create, connect and shared respect online. So I'm very grateful for the participation of Digital Jersey today to help raise awareness, as well as the States of Jersey Police Force, and I'll be handing on to Chris from the Crime Reduction Unit afterwards. So a lot has changed in those 14 years. When Safer Internet Day was launched 14 years ago, Facebook was just 2 days old. A tweet was a noise that a bird made. So lots of changes. Digital technology has enabled fantastic opportunities for our young people in the field of education, communication and entertainment as well. But with that comes some challenges. Challenges for our young people that they need to deal with in areas such as sexting, trolls, fake news, all the types of things that our young people have to come across in their digital world. And very much many challenges for parents as well. As a parent of young child myself, I feel like I was just saying to Chris before, I feel like I'm half in and half out of the digital age. So parents, hopefully though you're parents today, parents can often feel daunted by the pace of change of technology, that the children actually are understanding it better and quicker than they are. Before we look at some of the tools and controls that you have as parents to help children in their digital world, it's, you need to understand what your children are seeing online. There are lots of unsuitable websites there, apps that have age limits and games. And also understanding how your children behave online. Do they behave differently online than they would do in the real world? But what I want to predominantly talk to you about is the tools that you have available. But also think about the future challenges, because as I said at the start, the pace of change is phenomenal. The internet has enabled so many developments in children's education through things such as blended learning environments and easier access to content. And I don't know if any of you have heard of the phrase IoT. Anybody familiar with the phrase IoT? The Internet of Things is going to revolutionise that again, with more and more devices connected to the internet. So I came across a phrase the other day that I hadn't heard of before, called the Internet of Toys. So future tech, gone are the days where our children are expecting a game or a puzzle for Christmas, or a teddy bear. They'll be expecting these connected toys. And with that comes challenges for you as parents to understand privacy issues around it. Does this toy, this smart toy, is it connected to a social network? Does it store data? Does it store data on your child? Can it be used for marketing? So whilst there are so many phenomenal developments for the possibilities for education, they always need to think about privacy as well. So I guess the first step really to understanding the tools and controls that you have available to you is understanding how your child does connect to the internet and in which particular environment. If you go onto, there's a fantastic website developed by our partners, Vodafone. It's a Vodafone digital parenting tool, and it's full of top tips. It's an online version of the magazine you've got there, full of top tips and practical things about keeping safe online. And this is a great infographic. I would suggest that you go onto the website and look at all the areas where your children are likely to connect to the internet, at home, at school, out and about, and at friends and relatives' house. And that will give you a step-by-step of the types of parental controls and devices and security that you can put around devices.
Is that website address in this book?
That's in the book as well. Yeah, that's in the book. So really understand the different ways that your children can connect to the internet. Free Wi-Fi. Chris and I were talking about it before. You're in holiday mode, you're at the airport, free Wi-Fi, yeah, let's get on. There's no such thing as a free, well, there is a free lunch, I hope you've all had some sandwiches today, but there's no such, be wary of free Wi-Fi zones, because it's very easy for hackers to set up fake Wi-Fi zones at airports, and if you're putting sensitive information into your device. So really, free isn't always good. Think about paying for these types of services. We're going to talk a little bit about Bluetooth, but if 4G, 5G networks are inherently more secure than a Wi-Fi zone. Filters. Airtel-Vodafone has taken the lead in this area. We were the first provider to blanket block sites of illegal content as deemed by the Internet Watch Foundation, and we also offer a free opt-in filter called Airtel-Vodafone Protect, which blocks sites of adult content. If your child, if it's particularly useful for your children with a first phone, if a child is looking to access a site deemed unsuitable by Cisco Reputation Service, that site will be blocked. So more information in the handouts on that if you're interested. Operating systems. Well, it was only last year that mobile devices overtook desktop as the most popular way of accessing the internet. But you're still going to have your PCs and your Macs at home. So it's really worth understanding the restrictions that you can put through the operating device itself, the operating system. Windows 10 and Mac, for example, you can put time limits on your child's activities, and you can download activity reports of the types of websites that they're looking at. And all of this information is in the parental guide, so it's really step-by-step stuff that you can go through very easily. But there are also really simple things that you can do as well. Does anyone know what this is? It's a webcam cover. You can pick these up on the internet for £4 or £5. So, if you're concerned about people hacking into systems, this is a simple device that you can put on your camera of your Mac or the camera of your smartphone. Simply flick that little switch across and it blocks the webcam from anyone protecting it. That's a really simple tool that you can use, and there are lots of these types of gadgets around. Device security. The rule there, the first rule really is strong passwords. As you would if you're accessing any sort of e-commerce site, you're going to use a strong password. A mixture of capital letters and numerals and symbols as well. That is your first line of protection. You wouldn't leave your house without locking the door, would you? So think about putting protection on your device. We often forget about the device. We put antivirus software on our laptops and our PCs, but we forget about our device. So there are things you can do. Make sure you update your device regularly. If there are security glitches, do all the updates. Make sure you do all the updates. Potential security glitches can minimize when you do the updates. And make sure you back up your device. Bluetooth. You're familiar with the word Bluetooth? There was a potential security glitch in Bluetooth devices discovered only last year, and Blueborn is a generic term for potential pitfalls in Bluetooth devices whereby hackers could potentially access your device. So really the advice there is unless you're actually paired to another device, turn your Bluetooth off. Okay, well, which is the strongest platform, Apple or Android? There's a lot of debate around that, and it's less so about the device. It's more about the Play Store really versus the App Store. Apple App Store is inherently more of a secure, closed operating system than perhaps the Play Store might be. And always think about free apps. Free apps on your device potentially come with security risks, but lots has been done by Samsung recently to make the App Store a lot safer. You can download an app if you're an Android user called Samsung Secure Folder, which adds another level of protection to your device over and above your password. There's also a feature in Android devices called Play Protect, which is very easy to activate and will regularly scan your device for any harmful apps. Apple, hopefully you're all aware with how to enable parental controls on your Apple device. If you're not, please come along. I'm here, my colleagues are here today, Jess and Seb at the back. If you want any advice on how to set these up on your devices, please come and see us. Very simple to set up. You can put a password onto your device and then enable restrictions around what your children can and cannot see, prevent certain content, add privacy settings, and ensure that the children can't download games of a particular age. Also, interestingly as well, worth looking at apps like Find My Friend. If you want to keep a track on where your children's location is, it's linked to your GPS on their device, and through enabling restrictions you can prevent changes to the account so the child can't delete that app. Managing playtime, always a difficult one for parents, isn't it? With the how much time should they be spending on their devices, on their Xbox, on their PlayStations? Well, there are very simple things, tools, resources at your disposal where you can put family timers onto Xbox devices to restrict the amount of time they spend on it, but also to restrict content. And when it comes to their tablets and smartphone devices, there are some good apps around that do exactly the same thing. Flipid, for example, will hide distracting games and apps on a device, and I like this one as well. Glued was actually worked on by parents who were worried about the amount of time their children were spending on devices, and actually rewards children for abstinence on the device.
Is that just for apps, or is that for websites as well? I'm thinking
That's
specifically
just for
YouTube.
apps. Yeah, that's just for apps. Yeah. Search engines. There are some features in Google Safe Search. Has everybody heard of Google Safe Search? Very easy to add this feature onto Google that will actually filter explicit searches. I mean, it's not a 100% solution. Content is constantly being updated onto the internet, but it will help in blocking certain illegal images. So, have a look at how you update and add these things, and YouTube offers the same sort of restrictions as well. Social networks and apps, I mean, these can be a very positive experience for many young people, but as parents, we should really understand the privacy settings and the implications around this, and maybe Chris will talk a little bit more about that. But there was an incident last year, Snapchat, who uses Snapchat or has children that use Snapchat. Snapchat launched a feature called Snap Maps last year, which was a location enabler, so there were all sorts of issues around, seeing where children are in any particular location. So that's why it's important to understand the privacy settings on these apps. Further resource, there's lots of resource available in the Channel Islands through organisations such as State of Jersey Police, Crime Reduction Unit and Digital Jersey, and ourselves. So take advantage of that. Lots of information sites out there. Have a look at the Internet Watch Foundation as well. If you're concerned about anything that's happening on the internet, report it to the police, but report it to the Internet Watch Foundation as well. And hopefully the media will play their part in raising awareness. So look, hopefully a few tips and advice there about practical things that you can do. We firmly believe that the future is exciting for our young people. The internet is a great enabler to help with their collaborative learning. So yes, there are some pitfalls, but really it's a very exciting place, and hopefully we can give you a little bit of advice as parents on the top tips that you can put into place. We'll be around afterwards if you want any device advice, but I'm going to hand over to Chris now from the State of Jersey Police.
Thank you. That's a nice bit. Sadly, mine is more the brutal truth and the horror bit of the internet. You've got to understand where I'm coming from first. This isn't meant to scare anyone, go on have sleepless nights things. My job, crime reduction, all I do every day is sit and read and see about what people have done on the internet and how they have fallen victim to things. Okay, so it's not a doom and gloom world. However, some of the things I tell you, everything I tell you now is going to be true. And The message I want to get across is twofold. It's for parents and it's for children. So obviously there's no children here, but if you have children, please have a chat with them. From a parent's point of view, the message we as the police would like to get across is you need to take more notice of what your children are doing with their devices. Because whenever we have a problem with a child who's done something, 9 times out of 10, very innocently, their parents have had no idea what they're doing with their devices and they've no idea what they're looking at. I understand the problem. I'm in my mid-40s. When I was at school, there were no computers. Halfway through my secondary school life, one computer was introduced to the school, which was kept in a locked room, and it was like gold. You weren't allowed to look at it, never mind touch it. We didn't have mobile phones. So for me to try and learn computers now, because I've never grown up with them, is very, very difficult. And there'll be people in this room who have exactly the same problem. Your children will be much better at using computers than you will ever be, because they've grown up with them. They know exactly how to talk to them. They know exactly what they can get out of them. And we're playing catch up. So it is difficult, but there is help out there on various different internet sites that we use and we can talk to you about. I'll use one subject to start with, gaming. Who's got children and who do you know they use gaming sites, these World of Warcraft and things? Some of the stats on these. Let's get back to this. Some of the most common games, things like Rocket League, Quake 3, Rainbow Six, Battlefield 1, these are all amazing to me. I don't use these, I'm going to be honest. Counter-Strike, World of Warcraft and World of Tanks. These are the most common games. I checked this again this morning. These are the most common games out there. These are what everybody's using. First of all, the amount of violence shown on these games is something incredible. You want to go on and have a look at them. Have a look at what your children are actually playing. Okay, the violence on these things, if it was a video, you wouldn't be able to buy it unless it was 18. We know there's age limits on these games as well. However, kids aren't daft, they know how to get around that. All they do is just put a different date of birth in. Very, very simple. Have a look at what they're looking at. You can understand sometimes why some kids do get very angry very, very quickly if you look at what they're playing. Some of the stats of these is quite phenomenal as well. League of Legends holds a record for 27 million players logging on in one day. 27 million. Okay. And World of Tanks holds the record for 305,000 people playing at exactly the same time. It brings up another question. Who are your kids talking to on the internet through these games? It's been proven, and we have found, Jersey, it's a very small place, you've got to look at the bigger picture here, that they're being used as grooming sites. Some adults are getting into these sites, and what they're doing is they're hopping onto them, they're pretending their name's Billy, I'm 14 years old, tell you what, let's talk privately about the game, and they're drawing kids away from that, because you can't do it in the game won't allow you. But what they're doing is they're drawing them out into private messages. This has got to stop. Have a brutally honest chat with your kids. You know your kids, you know how to talk to them. Have a chat with them, find out what they're doing. It is happening in Jersey. In December I spoke to about 11 children at separate meetings about this very problem. Okay, and they're being asked to do things through their webcams on the internet by these people they think are friends, that they think are potential girlfriends, boyfriends. This is the very real danger of the internet. The internet from a policing point of view, actually I'll say that another way, the internet from a general point of view is the best thing in the world ever. It is the most incredible invention. I use it all the time. From a policing point of view, it's the worst thing that could ever been invented. And from a selfish police point of view, if we could turn it off tomorrow, we would. That's our brutal truth, because it causes so many problems for paedophiles. It is an absolute godsend. They don't get caught anymore sort of approaching kids outside schools. They're doing it over the internet. It's a lot safer for them. They're getting the pictures sent to them. Okay, so please have a chat with your kids, find out what they're doing. Now, for children, in fact, I'll just go on to something there. Snapchat. A few people said you're aware of Snapchat. One of the things about Snapchat is people assume, especially children, If you take a picture of Snapchat, send it to someone or a message, it goes after a certain time period, correct? Everyone's that understood? And it can't be recorded. Load of rubbish. It can be recorded, and people are very clever at doing it as well, and there's even software now that will record everything that comes on Snapchat. So it isn't this wonderful device that you send the picture, no one sees it again. Okay? It can be done. Children with computers. The most popular game at the moment for children, school-age children, between about 12 and 16 at the moment in Jersey, is something to do with a love test. Okay, and what happens is you get two people, girl, boy, at school, they get into a relationship and they think that this is going to be the love of their life. Everyone's been there at school. We all know it's going to last to about the weekend, and then that's the end of it. Monday morning, start afresh. Everybody knows this. They obviously, it's the first time that they've ever been kissed, they think it's going to be the love of their life, fine. This is getting exploited to ridiculous levels at times. And what's happening is you get boy, girl, and I'm going to be honest, it's normally the boy who initiates this. And he will send a message to his girlfriend and say, if you really love me, you send me a picture of such and such a naked part of your body. Right? This is going on all the time at the moment. The girl then worries, oh, he's going to dump me, so she sends said naked part of her body by picture to her boyfriend. You're all adults in this room. What do you think the boy's going to do with that picture as soon as he gets it?
Send it to the mates.
Absolutely, he's going to send it to his mates. And this is what the kids aren't getting. This is what the girls aren't getting. They're not understanding this. This picture is going to go straight to their friends. Okay? Their mates are going to giggle about it and they're going to send it on to somebody else. Let's be honest, lads and girls mature faster. Lads are still very juvenile at school. Okay, like I said from a bloke point of view, because we were. Women mature much faster. We don't see the seriousness. We think it's really funny. We then send it on to our friends. They send it to their friends. They send it to their friends. Before you know what happens, and this is true, the girl goes into school on a Monday morning for her teacher to pull out the class to say, have you seen this picture that's on her phone? We then get involved, so we then got to come in, and then we have the awkward situation where it ends up as us sitting in an interview room with the child, with their parents, to the child's parents saying, could you identify this picture? Is that your daughter? Put yourself in that position. Yeah? Apart from the fact it's also illegal. If you send a picture of an underage person to another person, it is illegal in distributing porn and decent images. Okay? And we will take action. If we think it's a stupid mistake, we will take action in the appropriate manner. We're not going to prosecute everybody. But if we think it's been done as a nasty act, and we think it's been done purely to humiliate somebody, we will take action and we have prosecute people. Okay? But this is a real danger at the moment. And the why people aren't realising it's such a danger is that we had a girl come in late last year. She's 23 now. She's got a family of her own. She's got a nice job. And lo and behold, what has resurfaced? The picture of her topless that she sent to her boyfriend when she was 15. It's resurfaced, it's come back. She came in pleading with us. Can you remove the picture? No, we can't. We can't, we don't have the power. Nobody has the power to remove that picture off the internet. You'll read things that say, if you put something on the internet, there's programs that can wipe it. It's not true. Once it's out there, it's out there. Which goes on to the next bit. If you put a picture or a comment onto the internet, be prepared. If you're not prepared to put it into the local paper so everyone can read it, don't put it on the internet. Okay? Jobs. You go for a job, it's now becoming standard in part of your job application. Can we do a Facebook search on you? Okay? And we know people who have been fired. Everyone comes to the police when they've got a problem, which is fair enough. But not all of them are problems. People walk through the door, I've been fired. Why? Because I called my boss such and such last week when I was out having a few beers. Over the internet, on Facebook. What do you want us to do about it? With the police? It's not defence. But you've been fired. Just think about what's going out there. Especially for kids. I know you're all adults in this room, and I'd expect nobody to do this. But some adults are falling for this. Some adults are doing this. We all have bad days at work. Please think about what you're putting on the internet. As I said, it's the best device in the world. It's also the most horrific. Webcams. A colleague there spoke about webcams. This is, again, another true story. Picture the scene. It's a one-bedroom for want of a better word, bed sit, sort of 1-bedroom flat. You've got a lounge cum diner, bedroom, kitchen. Young lady, about 28 years old, goes for a shower, comes out the shower, then stands in her lounge and gets dried and gets changed, not realising that somebody has remotely turned their webcam on. And it's not hard to do. Okay, what we tell people is, yes, you have the device to go with the webcam. What we tell people, to be honest, is either just turn it off or turn it round, or even put some tape over it if you're not going to use it. Or disable your webcam if you're not going to use it. But don't assume it's sat there, it's safe and it's off. It's surprisingly simple for somebody to turn your webcam on if they can get into your computer. I'm quite new to all this, and I'm gobsmacked when our IT blokes sit down and show me how to do this. Obviously I can't tell you how to do it, but they show me how to do it. And I am gobsmacked at just how easy this thing is to do. Can you imagine the reaction of the young lady when she finds out that she's being filmed? And she only found out, by the way, she was being filmed because one of her colleagues sent her the link to a porn site and said, have you seen this? Can you imagine how her world fell apart? She hadn't done anything wrong. She hadn't done anything stupid. She innocently was just going about a normal day-to-day life. As I said, I don't want anyone to have sleepless nights, but this is the world I live in. Free Wi-Fi sites. McDonald's, best advertising thing they've ever done is give free Wi-Fi to anyone that's in their building. But it surprises you to know that in England, the place that is the most common for having your details hacked, your computers hacked, is in a McDonald's car park. Up and down the motorways, there is hundreds and hundreds of McDonald's, and they've all got these big car parks. And if you park in them, or you go into McDonald's, you get free Wi-Fi. Everybody knows this, so you'll see McDonald's are always really, really full. The fraudsters know this as well. So they'll sit in the McDonald's car parks as well, gathering all the information. Okay, it's that simple. It's so incredibly simple. Facebook, I'm not going to point them out, but somebody here is going skiing very soon. They've got 2 children. I think one was 12, one was maybe 14. Facebook. Are those kids, I'd have to say, going to put pictures on Facebook saying, hey, we're skiing? Yes, they probably are. What's that also doing? Anybody want to tell me? What is that also doing? You put a picture on Facebook saying, I'm skiing. This is great, wonderful. House is empty. Yeah, isn't it just? Then the next comment is, only got 4 more days of this. Oh great, I've got 4 days left to do that. It's that simple, guys. And don't think that your Facebook is secure, because it's not. Because you don't know who is looking at it through your friend's eyes. Okay, it's really, really simple. And most people, please go away and look at your Facebook settings, by the way, because most people assume that your Facebook settings, you can't see anything. If you truly want to find out what you can see on your Facebook account, find somebody you are not linked to and ask them to look you up on Facebook. Okay, and find out what they can find out about you. But they can't have any link to you at all on Facebook. Okay, because otherwise it starts to show you things. If you have no link at all, then you'll find out what you truly can see, and I think a lot of you will be surprised. Okay, so go and have a look at that. I think it's just about everything. Snapchat, YouTube. Oh, YouTube. YouTube. A lot of kids use YouTube. A lot of parents, I'm aware of this, think YouTube is a fantastic internet device and it's a bit of fun. What do you all think about YouTube?
It's got a dark side.
It's got a really dark side. Apparently YouTube is pleased if you put something of controversial content on there, they'll take it off. I can find you the ISIS beheadings on there in minutes. I can find you terrorist propaganda in minutes. I can find you paedophile sites on there in minutes. It's all to do with if you know what to look for. However, you can also find them purely by accident by putting certain things in there. Which also goes on to your safeguards for the computer. Your safeguards for the computers work namely on names and figures of what you're typing in. The people who are putting this stuff on the computers aren't stupid. They're not going to put, this is a porn site, come here for sex. They're not going to write that. They're going to give it a different name. They're going to give it an innocent name. There's a very good chance anyone who's got kids in here, whilst doing anything with a computer, have found a porn site. I'd be very surprised if they haven't by now, by accident. Okay, you need to have a chat with them about it. You need to be realistic about it. You need to sell them that it's not an issue, it's not a problem, as long as they tell you about it and you can see it. If you do find anything on the computers that you have any concerns about at all, come and see us about it. Because not only can we tell you what it really is that you're looking at, we can also tell you how many times they've looked at it, or if they're looking at that type of thing a lot. Okay, just by doing a few simple searches on the computer. That might put your mind to rest, or if it doesn't put your mind to rest, it means you can then have that difficult conversation with your child about what they should and shouldn't be looking at. Okay, if it's just a mistake, 9 times out of 10 we can tell you it's a mistake, to say it's only been on once. However, if they've looked at it several hundred times, shall we say, then perhaps that difficult conversation comes in. But you need to talk to us, or you need to talk to somebody. You need to speak to your children, and you need to convince them or persuade them to talk to people as well. If they don't want to speak to you guys, which can be fair enough, parents, it can be very, very difficult, they can come and speak to the police. Again, not everyone wants to speak to the police. Go speak to their teacher. Got a favourite uncle, speak to their uncle, their auntie, their grandparents. Speak to somebody. Try and find somebody in their lives that they're happy to speak to about difficult situations, difficult things. Okay? Try and get that trust going there. I know it's very difficult. When I grew up, there's probably a lot of things I wouldn't tell me. In fact, there's probably a lot of things I wouldn't tell my dad now. So I'm probably the worst one for it, but I'm trying to get that across. If you've got concerns, come and talk to us. Just because you talk to us doesn't mean to say that we record everything. Talk to us doesn't mean to say that we're going to start a record of something. We're not going to put people's names down. All we're trying to try and do is help. So if you come to me now and say, my child's doing this, if you want me to have a chat with them, we'll have a chat with them. But it will be a strictly off the record chat. It will be a sit down very, very nicely, not recorded, not at the police station. Let's just have a chat, let's see if we can get it sorted out. Okay? Any questions? I don't want anyone to leave here thinking, oh God, that's what we're coming to. In my world, sadly it is, because sadly it's all I read, that's all I do, is my job. However, the internet is a fantastic tool. I would promote it any day, to be honest. My personal life, it is fantastic. The amount of research you can do on it, and the amount of things. I'm very into history. I love reading the internet because it can tell me everything I want to know. From a police point of view, I have that balancing act of, God, not again. Okay? So just try and take it as it is. We live in Jersey. Jersey is, without a doubt, one of the safest places in the world. But just remember, the people on the internet aren't here. They're somewhere else. Okay? And they don't have our same morals, they don't have our same standards. So they don't care if they're going to try and rip you off. They don't care if they're going to try and do something to your children. That's what they do. Okay? I'm going to hang around. If anyone wants to come and have a chat with me, or anybody wants to speak to me confidentially, just ask for my card, send me an email if you don't want to talk in this environment. I'm more than happy to come have a chat with you. Okay? Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Chris. Hopefully you've all found that useful. You know, there's some practical advice that we've given, and Chris has, heightened some of the dangers there. But as Chris said, there are some pitfalls, but there are lots of tools for you as parents to help you in your child's digital world. And there's lots of help. We're available for any advice you want to come and talk to us about. If you want to pop into our store, we have a daily tech clinic, 9 till 10. If you want to bring your devices in, any concerns you have around this protection issue, just pop into our store and we'll help you with that. So thanks a lot for coming along today. There's a few giveaways and goodie bags for you to take along, and we want all your children to enjoy a positive experience in their digital world.
Thank you.
Thank you.